Oh my goodness. Hello everyone. It is another Wednesday and I'm your host Kenda. This is my show, my own podcast. And today I got a real dope guest here. Y'all see her. She's sitting next to me. This is Miss Treva Gray. I'm gonna clap for you, dear.
Hello,
Now, some of y'all might know Treva by this her stage name, Testimonial Poetry, right?
everybody. Yep.
I love that name.
Thank you. Yeah, some people know me as Testimonial Poetry or Treva, but I think everyone knows that I'm a poet and an author. So yeah.
Yes. Let's talk about that. So I initially saw you get on stage at Mikasa Sukasa Cafe Lounge.
Hmm.
You did your thing up there. You,
Thank you.
Moschetti, and many others had me in a chokehold. I was like, oh my God. They did they thing. It inspired me so much that I came back a few weeks later and I did my own poem.
Yeah, you did. And then I saw you again when you guys had an event off of like
Yes.
Burleigh. So
Yes,
yeah,
Wildflower.
Wildflower.
Shout out to Tiffany Guy. Yeah, she owns that. Shout out to
Yes,
her.
thank you for that.
Yes. So I want everybody to know a little bit more about you today. So yeah, let's get into it.
Um, so I mean, my name is Treva. Many people do know me. I am a poet. I am a writer, an author, mental health advocate. Something unique about my poetry that stands out is that I write poetry around the stigma of mental health.
Wow.
Yeah, so I truly write about experiences that tear down homes of minorities, that people don't talk about, that
Mm-hmm.
families were conditioned that we have to stay quiet about.
Right.
So not only do I talk about those things, but I tell my truth, to remind people that they're not by themselves, or for those who don't have a voice, I advocate for those people, men,
Yes.
women, black, white, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I've been writing poetry for a very long time, and
Yes.
I said one day I'm gonna turn this into a book because somebody else has some similar stories or testimonies, and I became a self-published author about 3 years ago.
That's dope. That's dope. I'm about to
Yeah.
clap for those
Thank you.
accomplishments. What?
Thank you.
That's real dope.
Thank
What?
you.
Girl, I also want to talk more about the book. The books.
The book.
Let's talk about that. How many you got?
So I've published one,
Okay.
which was in 2021. I am actually waiting on a new shipment. So I am about to relaunch that book. My first book is called Walk Through Your Pain, Living Your Truth. And on the front of that book, I have a medical symbol. And a lot of us, we know the acronym of PTSD,
Mhm.
post traumatic stress disorder. Well, on the front of that book, I changed that acronym to Positive Thinking Stops Damage.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm waiting on a new shipment. I'll actually be doing a relaunch. And I'm in the middle of, well, I'm actually towards the ending of writing two more books, completing two more books. So there'll be a huge launch after because I took a little break.
Mm-hmm.
But in that first book, I talk about, like I said, different things that ruin families, friendships. More so, talk about kindling families, rekindling families, healing, coping, finding resources. I am actually a medical assistant, and I formerly worked in mental health at a psychiatric hospital for about 4 years.
That's amazing.
So I was able to become, you know, very intimate with people and what they were going through, whether it was a suicidal crisis, and things like that. I mean, one of my jobs was stopping them from going through those crises,
Mhm.
getting the police to them, things like that, seeing them
Yeah.
on the units. And so I used to get this phrase, "Oh, you work here, you don't know what we go through. You wear scrubs, you doing this, you don't know what we go through. You don't know
Mm.
what brings us here." And all the time I used to want to just drop and just sit with somebody and tell my story. Like, just because we wear scrubs or white coats or things like that, you don't know what our journey was to get here.
Exactly. They just
Um,
assume that you
yeah,
don't know what they're
yeah,
going through, but they have no idea that a lot of people actually get into that field because of someone they know or some pain or something they've gone through or trauma themselves or even just because, they saw something that inspired them and they wanted to help other people.
Agreed,
Yeah,
agreed. That
so
is how a lot of people get into their career fields, whether it's their desired career field or
mhm.
not.
Yep.
That's actually kind of how I got into healthcare. Because I seen so much as a little kid. I was helping family members and things like that. I'm like, oh, I'll be really good at this.
Yeah.
But then as I, got older and I said, yeah, I work in healthcare. I have a really good job. I love what I do. But am I doing what I dreamt of doing?
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Am I pursuing my passions? Or am I just working every day
Mhm.
to save the next person? Um, so my book had been written for a very long time.
Mhm.
I've been writing poetry since I was 10 years old. I still have the 10 coffee color pages. So some those pieces are very raw. They're intimate, and
Mhm.
it took me a while to write that book and tell my truth, because at first I was like, well, what is the world going to think of me?
Right.
What is my family going to think of me if I tell my truth? If I tell our truth? Um, and as I got older and more mature and started my own healing journey, I said, I can't tell anybody else how to get help if I don't tell my truth. And that's how I came up with my title, and I got the guts to publish, and
Yeah.
it was just a relief off my shoulders of I'm free. You get what I'm
That's
saying?
that's super inspirational.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's it's like you chose a path for yourself, and as you chose that path, you started to see other things that aligned with that. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to me, like that not only do you do your medical assistant role and you're helping others through that, but then you've also said to yourself, like, my passion is also to help people through this way, through
Yeah.
my words, through my thoughts, through my experiences, through my journey. And so it all ties together.
It all ties together. I mean, as a little girl, I knew that I was going to be some form of speaker. If you
Mm-hmm.
knew me as a kid, I was that kid that's like, hey, this my friend, I'm standing up for her. Or, our parents taught us to, stand up for what you believe in, be brave and all that.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I had a voice. I was using it in the wrong way, but I had a voice, and that voice never left me. Whether I was in the classroom, I was in drama class, like this voice was gonna be heard some way,
Yes.
somehow. And so, but then I was like, well, you talk about everything. Are you ready to scream out your truths? Because you've been using your voice for so long, but are you being heard?
Mm-hmm.
And so it took a while to say, am I really ready to tell the world that, hey, I understand, or, I have my own challenges? And so it took a while to get to that point. And I went from writing a book to just say, hey, this is just my journey, not even to be like, to market it or to become a bestseller or any of that. It was just like, hey, this is a part of my healing journey.
Yeah.
And that turned into, hey, can you come and speak at this place, at this juvenile center, at this shelter, and things like that? I'm like, I was just writing a book. In my mind, it was just another goal accomplished for me. But it turned into something else. Um, then maybe like 2 years later, I got into the whole open mic thing, and now I'm getting opportunities to speak in other states,
Mm-hmm.
at jails, like I said, schools, to just advocate for mental health, kids, youth, adults, everything. So I was like, hey, we all need our 9 to 5s, but I also want to be happy doing what I love to do. So why not put them together?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
I think that's the true definition when people say, I didn't choose this life chose me.
yeah,
Like, that's the realest thing ever, and it's so raw when it comes to you. You literally, when you put yourself out there like that, you're vulnerable. You're um you're leading by example in a sense as well, because you're showing people, hey, you can go through some of the craziest or some of the worst situations in life. You could feel like you might not get out of it, but it's all a matter of up here, what
yeah,
you do with those experiences and how you turn it into something more healthy for you to process
yeah,
and break it down so that it works for you in a sense where not only is it helping you, you're helping others through that.
yeah.
It gets that deep.
It
Like,
does, and I'm still learning how deep it gets, because, like I said, when I was in the process of doing it, I was just like, this is just a part of my healing journey.
Mm-hmm.
Is to say, hey, I've become accountable. I've told all my truths. I'm ready for the next step of therapy and healing and all that. And it was a stepping stone for me. It wasn't at that point, I didn't see myself going to change lives
Yeah.
at that point. I was still trying to save my own.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm a firm believer that many people, they are aware of their calling or their assignment at a very early age.
Yeah.
And life has this way of steering you back to it, whether it's a million times, whether you're a child, a teenager, young adult, you're going to get steered back to that same assignment
Yeah.
until you truly start to work on that assignment and walk in that purpose. And that's kind of like how it happened for me.
I love that.
That's kind of how it happened for me. And I'm like, okay, now I done got myself into a lot of stuff. And I'm like, well, this is what you asked for.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm
now you got to
like,
take it and roll with it.
I have to take it and roll with it. It's not easy all the time because I'm in my own healing journey.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, healing does not stop.
It doesn't.
It doesn't have a destination. It doesn't have an end point. There's always hurdles. And so like, as much as I go to Mikasa Sukasa, sometimes Mikasa Sukasa, sometimes I'll step out of my zone of the whole mental health thing and I'll try to do some fun and fancy, but it just comes back to me. You got to encourage somebody before you leave this mic.
Mm-hmm.
You got to touch life before you leave this mic. And it's almost uncomfortable if I don't. And so I've known for a very long time that I had a voice, and now I'm finally at my happiest point of life. Like, I'm not
Yay.
just working, but I'm also doing something that I truly love to do, and it doesn't feel like I'm working.
I know that's
So-
right. That's a blessing.
Thank you.
Who would you say are some of your biggest inspirations? Like some of your, do you have mentors? Who would you say right now?
Um, I would say I wouldn't call her out on here because she's very my editor. So my editor of my first book
Mm-hmm.
is a Black woman. You know, I'm gonna call her out anyway. Her name is Melanie Williams.
Let's go. Melanie.
Melanie does not like to get praise, but Melanie was my best friend in middle school.
Aw.
And Melanie has all this English education background. She was like the grammar police. But she was my best friend. And if nobody knew me better than she did, you know, like I was always rocking with Melanie. Melanie was rocking with me. And Melanie seen this book coming. But I didn't believe that I had this book in me.
Wow.
And I was like, you know what? Every few years, I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do that. And she's like, when you're ready, let me know. Melanie actually has her own editing company and publishing company and things like that. So
Love it.
I was just like, you know, I was scared. I was afraid. That's my best friend at the time. I don't want her to read my craziness. And I'm like, well, you don't get no crazier than this. You about to tell the world like your truth, which is also why I went to self-publish, because my work, it was going to be as raw as I wanted it to be.
Right.
So shout out to Melanie. Melanie is still like my best friend. I mean, we are grown. I've been knowing her since I
Shout
was
out to
11.
Melanie.
Melanie, I love you. I know you don't like being
Aw.
shouted out, but I love you so much. Melanie has just changed my life in so many ways. When it comes to Milwaukee, some of my inspirations are Miss T, Freebird, My Poetry Speaks,
Yes.
Trunk Buster, Gideon, you know,
Woo.
just not even just poets, but people that are truly creating art and finding places to allow us to create art.
Yes. Creating that
Um,
environment.
yeah, Darling Nikki, some of my favorites, Darling Nikki, um, Mario, the poet. Like those are some of my inspirations, and not just because they do poetry, but their art is so fearless.
Mhm.
Like regardless of what they're doing, they're free. They're showing happiness. They're evolving. They're bringing new ideas, and it's so good to see because for a long time I was like, I need to find somewhere to do poetry. I didn't even know we had things to do here.
Yeah, I just
for a
found
long
out
time.
recently. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I need to find somewhere to go because I got some things to get out. And
Yeah.
so Prince Dan, so when I got connected with people, then I had to test myself and say, all right, now you got to step out and meet people. as extroverted as I was, healing and therapy kind of like brought me into this shell.
Mm.
As you heal, you learn that everything don't need to be said and all this and all that. And I was like, oh, I gotta go outside and meet people. Like, can I just stay at home and do
That's
this?
the
Like, that's
yeah.
how I'm like, can I just stay at home and do this? And so it was a different kind of test for me. And I had to network. I'm like, this is a lie.
I know that
I
feeling
didn't even
too
market
well.
my book like this. Like, I just wanted to do it, you know? And
Mm.
so I said, well, you got this voice. You have this assignment. You know you have this assignment. And you still gonna disobey your higher power?
Mm.
And I was like, ooh, because the reality is I've done everything in life that my family wanted me to do, felt I should do. I've lived a life for everybody but myself.
It's
And
time to
so
yeah. It's
the
time to
ball
live
was
for
in my
you.
court, and I'm
Yep.
like, well, and so I started to step out. I got shy. Then I was like, I'll start getting on the mic. And then I'm like, well, what I write about is boring. So, but I'm like, that's how I felt. And so I was like, but now also what I write about needs to be heard.
Mm.
There's so many people out here that won't tell their story.
Girl, your writing is powerful.
And so thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Like I had to remind myself that if you continue to hold your art, your creation, just hold it here, you're being selfish to the world.
Do you how you feel about not being selfish right now and like giving us some? If you
See,
if you don't want to give us now right now, I get it. But I had to ask.
no, you did. You know what? So this is my confession. You caught me off guard. Because the fun fact about my this poet here is I don't usually memorize all of my pieces. And
Okay.
the reason that is because I write so much. I write so much. And so I'm a little nervous right now to give
It's
y'all a piece.
okay.
But if you
Take
are
it.
ever, if you're ever at Food for Thought on Tuesdays, um, if some of y'all that are watching are from the Racine Kenosha area, I am actually the newest member of Poet,
Let's
which
go.
is a thank you,
Poet.
Poet. I am the newest member of the Wisconsin chapter, People of Extraordinary Talent. And so we have a set and a podcast first and third Wednesdays of each month. So I would not throw y'all no piece right now because I'm way too shy for that. But again, like I said, majority of the writing that I do talks about mental health. I mean, you name it, I talk about it. I'm like the most fearless to talk about it.
Yes.
From abuse, neglect, rape, family incest, police brutality. I write and advocate for our Black men
Yes.
more than any other woman I know. I could be wrong, but I'm not afraid to do it. I show up for our Black men as much as I can, because I feel like they don't get enough credit. They don't get
Mhm.
enough praise. They don't get enough appreciation. So I am not just a poet who writes, oh, just for women or for us Black women. I see issues. I see inequality.
You right
I'm
about
right
it.
about it. I'm right about it because we have to make change. We have to provide safe spaces for everybody. We have to provide resources. And the more that we know we have resources to help other people and we don't share, we're being stingy.
That's true. That's
We're
true.
not allowing people to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, I went from just what the Q 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and went to a couple of open mics and then people are like, hey, would you come and do a little speaking here? And I'm like, whoa. And from there, it just kept going. I'm still evolving. But
Learning.
I'm learning. And I'm very grateful because I'm truly at peace. Like, if I haven't found peace, like in life right now, I would say I'm at my happiest. And
I love
I
it.
always encourage people to, if, yeah, we all have to work a 9 to 5 or utilize our degree, but really start to tap into your passion or your assignment.
How do you think people realize what that is? Because so today the topic is finding your niche, and I think that's exactly what you've done. You figured it out. You figured it out, like you said, at a young age. You knew something, and then life took you where you needed to be to fulfill those things,
Yeah.
and a bunch of other things, of course, incorporated with that. What do you think? Because I know that sometimes people get, okay, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this. And if you got your hands in like 100 buckets before you can actually get something down, sometimes it can be tough to figure out what you want to do, you know?
Yeah.
So, how did you narrow it down? How did you say, this is it? Like, this is it. Like, there, I don't really need to get out of the healthcare field to do my poetry. I don't need to get out of poetry to be an author. I can do all these things. I can be all these things, and it can all be things that align with me, my purpose, my passion, and I can do well at all of them. Like, some people really struggle with that. Like, but you are very confident for one. That's
I'm working
great.
on it.
That's great.
Thank
Like,
you.
I feel like that's so important when a person pursues something that they want to do, is the confidence first of all to do it, the discipline every day to say, I want it, I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
Like, it's, to me, those are some of the things that people lack. But you, not at all. Like, you probably at some point, like you said earlier on, you didn't feel like you could at that time, but you
Hmm.
had the support. You had someone pushing you. But most of all, you had you. You had you telling you it's time.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
So I'll be honest. Everybody's journey is different. For me, that's a good question because no, for me, I was my only support.
Mm,
So, and it's not to play the woe is me. Sometimes life will challenge you in so many ways. Like life will make you uncomfortable. When I say uncomfortable, I'm talking about uncomfortable where sometimes you want to break down.
yeah.
Um, and then you're like, well, you can't break down. I had come to a point in my life where I got tired of living for other people.
Say that.
Um,
Woo.
as like, and it all started. That was the beginning of my healing journey. That was the beginning of you got to go to therapy and get some help because your background, where you come from, don't have the answers. And so, I've been in therapy about 8 years now. I always encourage people to do therapy if they believe in it.
Hmm.
But I got to a point at a very young age where I was like, you know what? I don't like being unhappy like this. I done everything for everybody, whether it's done what they thought I should do, whether it's take care of family, whether it's support. I have done everything, but I have not done not one thing I ever dreamt about. And so it when you get to that point and you're exhausted
Mm.
or you're just completely unhappy, nothing in the world makes you happy anymore at all. That's when you have to say, well, what can I do different? If I don't have the resources around me, if I don't have anybody uplifting me, if I don't have anybody speaking encouraging words into me, if my family don't believe in me or they're thinking that I'm too good making these type of changes, I have to step away and find somebody that can help me along the way,
Yes.
second to my higher power. Because some of us are blessed enough to have all the tools in our hands
And
and
not
we don't know
even.
how to use them.
That's true.
So when I started therapy, that's when I started to dissect who am I?
Hmm.
Who was I? And where do I want to go? And who do I want to be? I'm not a stagnant person, but
Yeah.
I don't like being unhappy, like in the ways that life can put
Can
you
do.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I started my healing journey and went to therapy. And I'm like, you know what? And over the years, I started to unravel.
Hmm.
Oh, I don't like that, or oh, I like this. This makes me feel good, and it started to come down to. It took time,
Yeah.
and because I am one of them people, I am multifaceted. Having too many talents can bring a different kind of stress onto you.
Hmm.
I do a whole lot more than what we're talking about now. Um,
See y'all.
and so, and
She's magical.
I try not to put them in the same bucket. But I also believe that, hey, we're going to work a job until we're tired of working a job or until our bodies say we can't work this job.
Hmm.
None of us likes the word retirement. We all want to stay happy.
We do.
What would make you happy for the rest of your life? If you could do one thing or maybe three things, what would you be so great at and do it for the rest of your life. Like you can do it in your sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I knew that it was time for me to share my story too with people. I can write poetry in my sleep. I think about others more than I think about myself, but I'm not going to overextend myself.
Yeah,
So I had
that's
to find a
important.
median. I had to find a median. I'm like, well, I can drop a book off, and if it helps somebody, it helps somebody. But I don't have to extend my physical and my mental for the rest of the world in that way.
I gotta clap.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I hope y'all take that to heart. Do not overextend yourself.
I'm telling you, it will overextend yourself. I'm gonna be very transparent. Parent, we lose a lot of family members
Mm-hmm.
to stress, depression, misery, anxiety.
True.
Sometimes we have to experience our own semi deathbed to understand what happiness means for us. And unfortunately, I was one of them people that had to kind of learn the hard way and say, look, you almost got taken out. Living
Wow.
for other people will stress you out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Helping people is one thing. Want to give them resources is another. But living for them because you want them to live is a whole different like entity.
Right.
And I suffered strokes myself to be young. And when my higher power rolled me up out that bed and I was like, I'm good. I don't even know what just happened. I knew then that path of life was not where I needed to be. I needed to keep doing what I was doing, being happy, not worrying about who's gonna be impressed, not impressed, or whatnot, and just focus on what makes Treva happy.
So
What allows her to
that's what
sleep
it
at
is.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's how you figure it out.
you
Is
figure
you
it
figure
out.
out what makes you happy.
Some people are not gonna like it. A lot of people are not gonna like it, and you got to get comfortable. It's gonna be a different kind of uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get comfortable with losing people.
Yeah, and saying no.
Man, let me tell you, no.
Saying no.
I was already mean as a kid, right? But no,
Not you was mean as a kid.
I was. Don't touch my stuff. No, no. Look, I was a daddy's girl, okay? I was a daddy's girl. And so, but like, no, I do not. Let me tell you, I done got to the no so good that sometimes I won't even respond. Because let me tell you, it's not worth my mental capacity. You
Right.
get what I'm saying? Some of us learn our life lessons differently, but my parents passed at a very young age. So I was like, shoot, I got to do this right. I ain't got nobody to help correct me other than my higher power. But we all know that he gonna allow me to make some mistakes, and my challenge was different. But I was like, I don't have to impress anybody other than myself, and learning how to write this book the right way. And the only people I'm trying to impress, if any, is my audience
Yeah.
and whoever needs to hear what message. And that was it. And so now I'm in this space where I'm just free, like, and I'm becoming even more free as I perform, and the anxiety is getting less and things like that. But it's all about growth. And when you get to that point that you're okay with accepting growth and the mistakes that come with, sure, you can rock and roll and do whatever you want to do as long as you're happy.
I was gonna say, what's one of your biggest challenges so far? Because a lot of the times when we are aiming for that happiness, it's something trying to stop you. That road is not as smooth.
You're gonna get more things that try to stop you than you do that push you.
Then you do that push.
Like,
y'all heard that?
No, so for real, it's so staying disciplined be my biggest challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I do have my moments where we all have our moments where we're confident, or we like, yeah, this dope, I got this, boom, boom, bam.
Mm-hmm.
And then I be like, here come the life challenge.
Here it comes.
And then here come their sister and the cousin. I'm like, how am I supposed to do all this? And so at that moment, I would be like, you know what? I can't do this. And then I have to remind myself, you can't talk to yourself like that.
Right.
So my whole journey has been more about that discipline, keeping that intact, growing in that area, staying accountable, because it's hard, regardless of what your end goal is or your dreams are. Focusing on you, putting yourself first, saying, hey, the rest of the world can wait. is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
It is really hard to say no to people. It's really hard to say, hey, I love you, but you got to try this on your
Ooh.
own. Um, that is not going to be appealing to people.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to say, you know what, you're acting funny. And those are the moments where you have to stay confident. You have to stay disciplined. You have to say, hey, I built this house by myself or with my village, whoever your
Amen.
few people are. Um, and so that's been my biggest thing, probably like the last year or two, is staying disciplined.
Stand
It's been
disciplined.
challenging as I grow, find more speaking engagements, opportunities. You outgrow people. It
Yeah.
doesn't make you better than them or them less than, but you outgrow people, especially when y'all not supposed to be in each other's corner.
That's yeah.
So
That's the thing too, is using that understanding. Okay, we're not growing together. We're not moving together. When I'm with you, you want me to stay here, but I'm trying to move here. And I'm
yeah,
telling you I'm trying to move here, but you trying to hold me here. And I can't stay.
yeah.
So
Those crucial conversations a lot of people don't have.
yeah.
Um, I ain't gonna say it in a way like I'm bragging, but I'm a fan of crucial conversations. It doesn't matter if it's family, friends, a relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend. This don't make me happy.
Yeah.
Therapy, one thing therapy has taught me is effective communication.
Ooh,
It doesn't matter the
that's
situation.
that's needed,
It
necessary.
negotiating, networking. Nah, like there are ways to communicate effectively, and the only person you're gonna offend is the person that is not ready to listen
Mm.
or ready to make change. Because if you've done the work as how you want to convey the message, deliver the message, you worked on how you position it, you worked on how you talk to people, all that, and you come as professional as you can or the
Mhm.
best way you can, and that person is still in disagreement, you can go ahead and be okay with walking away
Yeah. Be
and
okay
and not
with us
feeling
not
guilty.
agreeing.
Yeah, that is life. That I think that was the scariest thing I had to learn in life,
Mhm.
especially like I said, losing both of my parents. I'm like, oh, I ain't got nobody to back me up to say to agree with me, even when nobody needs to be agreeing with me. So a lot of my journey has just been picking Treva,
That's
picking
that's
Treva.
that's number one.
It was hard. It was really hard. The biggest thing was writing my book. Am I going to lose my family? Is my family going to be mad if I tell our truth?
Mm.
Well, I can't be telling people what to do and how to do it if I ain't told my truth or how I got where I'm at. And so once I did that, I'm like, you've done this, you can do anything.
Yeah. You definitely can.
So like
You
I
gonna take
always
that to
encourage.
a that's it's so much more
It
than
is, but
that
I'm
you
still pacing myself though,
yeah.
because I care for people 8 hours a day. And then in between those 8 hours in those calls, I'll be like, oh, he go a line. Let me write this down. Or, poetry, it just comes to me. And so I have to still find a median of keeping them separate,
Mhm.
keeping work at work, keeping poetry at poetry, um, networking. Sometimes it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Choosing which
I believe that.
events not necessarily are worthy of going, but I can't go to every event every day of the week.
And
You
there's a
know,
lot of events out there.
it's a lot of them, a
Yeah.
lot of great events. And
Mhm.
so I pick and I have some I go to consistently, and then some I say, you know what, I'm gonna take a break from that one. I'm gonna show up to this one because they show up for me.
Yeah.
Or I want to network with a different crowd,
Mhm.
or attract a different crowd. So that is still a learning
It's
process
some
for me.
balance you find.
It's a balance
Yeah.
on top of my other business that I have going on.
Yeah.
So but writing and speaking is all that I know.
When you say that you do speaking engagements, you
Yeah.
got any coming up?
So, um, not not confirmed.
Okay.
So I'll definitely keep you in the loop about that.
Okay.
I've done some poetry and racing, and they've been welcoming me to a lot of different events.
Wow.
So I have another poetry event coming up on November 6th, but the details, the finer details, are not completely confirmed. I'm in the process of getting some things together to potentially go speak at the Milwaukee County Jail.
Okay.
I'm no pastor, no preacher, but I always encourage people to find healing no matter where they are physically or mentally in life.
Mhm.
Um, and then my personal goal is I'm working with some schools right now to see if I can get a speaking engagement opportunity to talk about
Wow.
bullying and mental health.
I think that's amazing. That
Yeah.
needs to be discussed.
Yeah, so I'm working with the elementary school and a middle school right now. Um, and that's my end goal for the year is to get at least two of those engagements.
Locked
That way I
in.
can say not only did I did it, but I touched more lives. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? Because what you guys see right here on this podcast didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
It,
Took some
it
time.
it takes time, and then the more education that our kids, our youth have, or even our parents, we can kind of prevent some of those things in their childhood, in their adolescence. How we speak to them, how
Ooh.
we coach them. I talk about everything
How
because
we listen.
how we listen, how we listen. Um, I come from a background where I've seen so much. You name it, I saw it.
Mm.
And so to unlearn all of that and be trying to show up like I'm 1,000,000% healed, I'd be lying.
Yeah.
I'd be lying. But one thing I do is I walk in my truth, so that I know wherever I hurdle, I can pick up. Or if I miss a step, I can pick up.
Yeah.
And that's it. It all comes down to accountability and discipline.
And grace.
And I'm horrible. Let me tell you, I am
Show yourself
horrible.
some more of that.
Yes, let me tell you, I am working on that. I preach it all the time, but I don't give myself enough grace. I don't give myself enough time. And so that is, I'm working on it. It's getting better, but like, gosh, if I would have learned this and what it truly
Earlier.
meant early on, yes, I'm going to speak kind to myself. Yes, I'm going to talk kind to myself, because when you give yourself grace, you're learning so many different things about yourself.
That's true.
And then not only do you have to learn those things, you have to apply them so that you set the tone for how other people show up for you, respect you,
Yep.
present you. I'm like, this is a lot to be unlearning and relearning.
It is.
Like,
It is.
so yeah.
You unlearning, relearning, and you going out and teaching other people all in the same accord. Like,
I don't even know how I do it.
that's why I said you magical.
I'm trying, I appreciate that. And so, but that's how I knew as that kid that just was in somebody's business, advocating, trying to be fair, fine. Fair. I was that kid.
Yeah.
And I never knew why I was that kid. I just, she got straight A's. She talked too much, and she always in somebody's business. Cause I'm trying to help somebody. Like, I'm trying to help somebody, and here I am. My parents are gone, rest their souls, but I'm here doing what they couldn't stop me from doing, and that was being quiet.
Yeah.
In a good and a bad way.
That's
So
the story, sis.
it is, but you know what? I know somebody else has stories, testimonies, unsure why they still here, unsure what their purpose is, unsure why they're still given opportunities, things like that. And it's time for whomever that may be to say, hey, what brings me joy?
Yeah.
What am I good at? Yes, I can do it all and have a 9 to 5. It may not look perfect.
Yeah.
But I can tap into some of my passions before it's time for me to leave this earth.
That's facts.
And my thing is, who wants to die in misery and not doing anything that they absolutely love?
Right. And who wants to live their life with shoulda, coulda, wouldas and never trying?
And I'm sure we get enough of seeing our parents, grandparents, great grandparents die in misery.
Mm-hmm.
Or we get enough of hearing our parents say, I want you to be better than me. I want you to do better than me.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They may not have instilled the message the right way, but they're trying to tell you that, hey, you are a gem.
Yeah.
And so, for people that are not sure what their purpose is, why they here, don't look at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what makes me happy.
Yeah.
Or what do I do that make other people happy without overextending myself?
Right. Without putting myself
right
in uncomfortable situations on purpose.
Yeah. On purpose. Let me tell I had just wrote a poem a couple weeks ago called Self-Sabotage.
Okay. I like
and
that.
I named it that because you get people that are healed or healing and very far on their journey, but they struggle because they still be like, hey, I want to help you.
Yeah.
And then When somebody say, "Here go all my problems," you be like, "Oh shoot, why I do that?" Or why me? Why you over there extending yourself? You did all this work to
Yeah.
say, "Hey, I still got my own problem. I got a problem for I got a soft spot for broken people." And they ain't saying nothing wrong with broken people, but we have to remind ourselves that we can't risk our sanity.
Yeah. I'm starting to learn when I communicate with people on the fly. I gotta stop saying, "Hey, how you doing?" Don't say how you doing if you don't really care, or if you care but you don't have the bandwidth or the capacity to really take on how they doing, because some people expect you to just be like, "Oh, I'm okay, I'm good, or I'm fine." But when you get that person that's like, "Actually, I'm not doing good today at all, I
And you
want to
wasn't
talk
ready.
about it," and you wasn't really ready. And you weren't really ready,
Man.
but you asked. Now you don't open that door. So that's another thing I want people to be mindful of is be careful with the way you approach people. You can be kind and extend a gesture, a kind gesture by just saying, "Hey, it's good to see you," and keep it moving.
Yeah. A hug
Because
is free.
a hug,
Just
give
give a
them a
hug.
hug. But the moment you say, "Hey, how you doing?" or "How's it going?" you got to be ready for whatever that is.
That's the worst open-ended question. That's probably like the worst open-ended question you can ask without knowing
Yeah,
it's an open-ended question. Like
right.
for example, I do a million things, and so I be Ubering sometimes. And even my brothers and people that's been in my life, they'll be like, "You are so quiet now." If I ain't learned nothing else, I am STFU. Okay, I am shutting up. I don't want your problem. And this is on a day when work has me at my ultimate. I'm done. I don't want nobody problems. It is okay to not want nobody else
It
problem.
is okay.
They be like, "Hey," I'm like, no, not tonight, please, Holy Spirit. Like, or I stop asking those extra questions.
Yeah.
I'm still working on it. You ask one question.
Open it
Don't
up for
set
Benny.
yourself up,
Yeah.
because I know me. I know how I used to be. I know that a good conversation will sink me in, and here I go trying to find resources. On no,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're going through that, and
Yeah.
I hope you get well.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because I know if I open a can of worms, and the coach in me, the educator in me, the resources, I'm just like, no, I don't sell myself up.
Right.
And so, yeah, people
Yeah.
will say to me now, like, "You so quiet." No, I'm choosing wisely.
Yeah.
This is a
Yeah.
battle I don't want tonight. I want to go. I don't want nobody on my mind when I go to sleep. It took me years to leave work at work, and home at home. I'm not taking this person home. None of that. And it may sound mean,
No,
but man, it took me a whole 8 years to learn that.
a lot of people are still learning that, and
Some
it's good that we said it out
some
loud because
messages get left. They don't even get be on red. I scroll to notification. That's all right. I can. A week go
you talking
by,
about.
like the no be serious.
Yeah.
No means no,
Yeah.
and that's in every aspect of my life. And I encourage anybody to start learning the word no. Utilize it where you know it's needed.
Mhm.
Set those boundaries. It doesn't matter whether it's in the professional world, dating. Um, we got to set these boundaries.
Absolutely, we
Them
do.
knows mean no. If we want people, if we want to start setting the tone for how people treat us, show up for us, respect us, start with the word no. I bet you, if you want a narcissist out your face, tell them no.
Tell them no. That's gonna piss them off, and they're
They gonna.
gonna
They ain't
be
even got to be
done
a
with you.
narcissist. Somebody that got bad intent. No,
Mhm.
you don't hear from them no more.
They're gonna be done with you.
And I be like, yes,
That's how you weed them out.
yeah. I mean, no, take me along. It take me a lot of places.
Mhm.
I used to have a problem saying no. I would give the skin off my body and
The
then
last.
everything until I had. Sometimes we hit a point in life where we have nothing else to give.
Mhm.
We can't even think. We can't even ask God for something else to give. He like, you had it all. What you do with it?
Right. You can't pour in somebody else's cup when your cup empty.
Yep.
It's not healthy for you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a part of all of this, the entire journey to be able to achieve success in those things that you really want out of life, it's about balance. We talked about that. It's about um saying
Accountability.
no, accountability.
Yeah.
Um
They gonna feel it. Like when when they find that niche, they're gonna feel it.
yeah.
And when you when you feel that happiness, that elevation, that feeling you never felt, you almost don't want to get rid of it. You don't want it to leave. And so it's just like going to the gym. When you hit that weight loss or you lose those inches and you start to feel good and just feel different, like love yourself differently, you're going to start doing all those things repetitively.
Right.
Every day, implement them. You're going to start learning more ways to implement, learning new things. And so it's healing and being positive and being good to yourself is a different kind of addiction. And I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
love it.
it's the best type.
It's the best type. It sucks that a lot of us learn so late, but it feels so good that when you get to that peak, you're like, this ain't even no peak. I got to keep going.
Yeah, it's more
And
to the
whoever
story.
left behind, they just left behind.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah,
I want to just take a look at the comments here. We got Shavonda Evans. Hey, Shavonda.
hello.
She also has a podcast.
Hey, congrats.
It's Strength and Love, Love and Strength. Okay. I want to make sure I say it right, Tone. Yes, y'all tap into her show too. Thank you. She said, "Get comfortable with being uncomfortable." That's one thing. Yes, she's relating. She's definitely relating. Hey. Thank y'all for watching. If y'all got any questions for Treva, please drop it in the comments. Please drop it in the comments. I would like for you to share your social media platform pages and anywhere that the audience can find you in case they want to connect with you on your book. Maybe they want to see what upcoming shows you've got with your poetry. You've got speaking engagements that you're planning. So people can tap in, follow you, and support you.
Yeah, definitely. So I all the platforms that I'm on are TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and they're all under the same name. So the word authoress underscore Treva, that's Treva underscore Gray. That is where you can find me posting more, sharing more, whether it's my poetry, whether it is encouraging words and pieces, um, and just reminding people to find healing and live in their truth. If you're looking for positivity or just a gentle start to how do I start healing, where do I start?
Yeah.
My DM is always open. If I don't have an exact answer, I have a resource. I'll find a resource because we all need help.
Yeah.
A lot of us, we're coping. We're just going, and we're not really taking the time out to heal. We're not taking the time out to live, and we got to live. We got to live for ourselves, not for other people.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm doing a lot of different things, but consistently I'm at Tuesday at Mikasa Cafe on Tuesdays. 2 Wednesdays out the month I'm in Racine. I've been branching out to Green Bay. I'll be getting over to Illinois soon. But all of that will be shared on my pages as I have like confirmation. I don't like to repost. I kind of make sure it's finalized and then say, bloop, here we go. That way. Because once I put the information out and people start, saying, hey, let me look and see if I can get into this. I hate to modify something last minute.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know I'm learning and things like that. So, but yeah, I'm always looking for opportunities to speak, to educate, so people can learn, grow, and just thrive. And I'm all about self-discovery. So yeah, authoress underscore Treva underscore Gray.
Yes. And I'm gonna clap for you again.
Thank you.
It has been an amazing time getting to know you. Like, girl, you gonna make me write another poem.
You could write. You know what? You probably got poetry in you, and you just don't really know. It'll come out when it's supposed to.
You right.
It'll come out on your time when you have time, but you got your own thing going on. You got all this entrepreneurial stuff going on too. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
You doing your thing. But that's whatever your purpose is, your happiness.
Yeah.
Some people are not able to designate that, but if it feel good, do it.
You know what? Let's talk about the downside though, because sometimes what makes us happy can make us unhappy. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but I'll give you an example. Sometimes you'll go hard for something, and once you get there, you discover some of the things that you didn't know existed. Like, oh, I love doing this. For example, let's just take podcasting. I'm just going to use it as an example. When I first started this, it was like, okay, I gotta look at my anxiety. I gotta look over that. I gotta use this as a way to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
At first, it was uncomfortable, so I wasn't 100% happy yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kept recording. Then I noticed, okay, I gotta find people. I gotta find people who align with the show
Mm-hmm.
to come on the show. Okay, that's another piece. That okay, I gotta learn that. Oh, I gotta do research about topics before I come on and talk about them. Okay, that might take some time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like these pieces,
That
these
uncomfortable.
Parts. Yes, that
So
come
that's
with
that's
it.
all evolution. That's evolving. That's growing. Terrence, you're asking all the good questions to the perfect person. So I experienced something like that yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm always talking about healing, growing, blah blah blah, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everything feels good, right? Well, yesterday didn't feel good for me.
Mm.
So we never really talk about the hiccups of healing and growing.
Right.
Those days that are uncomfortable, we don't have an answer to them. Nothing has happened, but we ain't there.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that. That happened to me yesterday. I got in the chat. I was like, "Hey y'all, I'm not coming to poetry. I can't do it." They was like, "What?" I'm not feeling poetic. I'm not feeling like a poet tonight.
Yeah.
I couldn't write a new piece. I had to give myself credit. Like, you write about 5 pieces a day when you do, but like, it was one of those days. I had no answers for what was challenging me.
Yeah.
I'm one to say you are not your diagnosis. So I wasn't finna say, oh, anxiety keep attacking me. I struggle speaking on the mic. I prefer not to have a mic. So yesterday was a different kind of challenge for me, and I was like, I'm not going. I gave up until I got home and changed my mind. But those are the challenges,
Yeah.
Those are the challenges.
The challenges too of trying to talk yourself out of doing something because
Yeah.
you're feeling a certain way. And
we
then
expect
you
things
get
to be
there.
orchestrated,
Yeah.
structured, and in order, and be ready. And then we forget that, hey, this takes practice.
Yes.
This takes time. This whole whatever this is, we didn't think about this overnight.
Right.
We've been thinking about this since we was a kid.
Yeah.
And so I got fed up with myself in the chat. I said, I'm not coming. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. This, that, there, and the other. I had every excuse. And then I'm like, well, maybe you ain't supposed to be structured tonight. Maybe you're not supposed to be in order. Maybe you can be a incomplete puzzle and touch a million different lives. And I walked in there and I'm just like, all right, still having a little bit of trying to shake it off. And I did exactly what I was supposed to do.
I love that.
And so, like, those are the hiccups of being an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
being creative. Don't get comfortable. Things are growing. Everything is growing and evolving around you. You can't stay stagnant.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, and you have to stay positive in those. That's where we talked about giving each other grace or giving ourselves grace. Take that time to say, you know what, I'm gonna step away from this, and then I'm gonna resume it when I'm feeling a little bit better. Because if I dwell on it, it's just like taking a test. It's going to tear me all the way down. I'm not going to feel good.
So it's okay to take a break.
It's okay to take a break. Let me tell you, at 36, and I'm an author. You have all other things going on. Take a break. I don't care if it's a nap, away from your computer, away from at work. I'd be like, you know what? It's break. I'm going outside. I need to step away from that, disconnect, and come back.
Yeah.
That's the importance. If we're not really disconnecting, we're not giving ourselves that mental space to say, breathe.
That's true.
We are always tied to something. I love breaks. I love them. I used to not believe in what is a break. It's not going to get done. What is a break? It's not going to get done. If I don't do it, who will? All that mindset. Nope. It will get done when it's supposed to get done.
I know. Girl, what?
I don't feel good to take a break.
It'll get done when it's supposed to get done, y'all.
Yeah. And I tell myself, I'm not even on my time. I'm on his time.
It's so funny. Tom hit me 2 weeks ago. He said, we taking a break. What? He said, you're not potting tonight. He said we gotta take
I
a
felt that.
break.
I felt that break before you told me.
Wow.
I didn't know that individual. I don't come here often, but the city needed a break.
Yeah. Like we taking a
The
break.
community needed a break. That would have been selfish
Yeah.
if we didn't.
Yeah.
I never met that gentleman. But I felt that. And so that's why I was not bothered by it. I'm like, hey, you show up for your community, your people, your family, this is intimate for y'all. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We grew up not taking breaks. That's what
That's
our
it.
parents' problem, our ancestors' problem. That is why a lot of people don't make it to 75, 80 years old, because they didn't give themselves a break.
Yeah. Give yourself a break. Give yourself a chance to focus on you, your health.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Give yourself, like you said, a nap. A lot of people lacking on that sleep. Get
Let me
your
tell
asses
y'all,
in the bed tonight.
I live 8 minutes from. Let me tell you, I said I ain't doing nothing. When this is over, I'm
Go
going
to
to
sleep.
bed.
Go to sleep. Give
Yeah,
yourself that because you need that.
you
know,
do. And
you
if
need
you
to
don't do
rejuvenate.
you're not setting the tone for other people to respect your space,
Mhm.
your mental space. You ain't got to answer every call. You ain't got to answer every text.
Yep.
I don't owe the world no explanation other than a better book than the previous.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all.
I always say that. It's so funny because I always mention that when we was growing up, it was a house phone. You know, it wasn't no damn cell
It
phone.
was, but I was a little spoiled. I had my own.
See, I didn't have one of them damn things. So it was pagers and beepers or whatnot.
I had that too.
I ain't had none of that shit. So if you couldn't reach me on the house phone, your ass couldn't reach me. I was okay with that.
I was cool too.
But then we came with the cell phones, and now people think because you have a phone with you all this,
We were so free. We had no worries, even because we had to use our brain and we had to be patient.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what time my bus coming, but I'm kicking it out here to the number 1 Metro link come.
Man, that shit is
like we be up here like shit. Can I smoke a cigarette? Or whoever be like, can I smoke a cigarette for the bus come? Like, is it that bad? Like, or my phone finna die. What am I gonna do without it? You didn't have a phone.
You didn't have that shit.
You had to call. You had 25 cents and 1-800. And if your mama accepted them, you get what I'm saying. So it just was like, I'm embracing simplicity. My breaks. I don't care to keep up with the Joneses. Like, I'm not here to impress nobody but my audience, and that's through pure authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
And that means giving myself a break.
Yes. Because you can't be your best self if you overwhelmed.
You can't.
Burnt out.
Overstimulation is uncomfortable.
Man, I don't think a lot of people realize that they do that to themselves on a daily basis. Sometimes you just gotta.
For those that be like,
I do this a lot.
You don't want to know what I do.
If it ring, I won't even look at it. It's upside down. When it's flipped like this, that means I don't want to be disturbed with it. A lot of people will look at this and think this is something else. Like, oh, no, I do this.
See, that's
when I flip that mug down. I'm on do not disturb.
I don't even gotta do that because mom be dead. God been bless me or woke me up at 7:10. I get the dogs out of the shower, and here I come. I'm 8 minutes from work. I'm gonna clock in from the computer. I don't even care to have this phone.
She said, I don't even care.
People that be trying to, I'm telling you, some of the poets be like, she ain't never in the chat. Barely. I'll catch y'all on Friday because I like my peace.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand what quiet, not being in people's business mean, and I didn't understand it. I don't want nobody problems.
No, that's right.
Take me out the group chat. I don't care. I don't care. It sound mean, but it feels so good.
Yeah. I hear you.
And that piece,
it don't sound mean to me though.
Shoot.
It don't sound mean. I mean,
some people that don't be ready for it or they don't understand, they be like, I can't do that. Yes, you can. You gonna wish you did.
People be mad. I see you on social media. Why you ain't answering my call? Well, I mean, social media is not a real place.
or look, if you do see me doing that, I'm advertising, I'm creating content, and that come first. How about it?
Yeah, that's so funny. Social media though is not a real place. So just because I'm on there doesn't mean I'm on there. You can literally make a post and time it. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can set the time for when you wanted to post.
I I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
it can look like somebody's online and they not. They put that post out
But
there
that's because
this
they ain't got
morning.
no business, they own. And so if they was learning how to create content and make their life less stressful, then guess what? They wouldn't even be in your
They
business.
wouldn't.
Because I'd be like, I didn't even do that. It was set, and I think I said that 3 days ago.
Girl.
Like, my brothers would be like, oh my God, you nonchalant. Oh, I'm nonchalant. I'm not. I just, we have to get comfortable with breathing,
Yeah.
saying no, taking breaks. Like, we're
Mhm.
going to kill ourselves.
Right. We don't want that. We don't want that.
We don't want that, all because we didn't say no or we didn't understand how important we were.
Mhm.
We are.
Yeah. We got to see the value in it.
And if you don't see your own value in you, nobody else is.
Yep. Yep. If people see you too, like you said, being overstimulated, constantly running, doing this, yeah, people will.
I used to think that was cool. I can do a million things at once. Girl, you crazy. That ain't normal.
That ain't.
That ain't normal.
Just trying to stay busy.
Yeah. But when you go through healing and stuff like that, and then something takes place in life where your brain is forced to slow down, that's uncomfortable.
It is.
Last night, I was uncomfortable. I don't know what my brain was looking for, but I was uncomfortable. And I had to say, hey, this is what life is supposed to be like. Not thinking about anything. Having those moments where you're just there and breathing. That is life.
Exist.
You have done your work for the day.
Yeah.
You wrote your poems for the week or did the next piece of your book and whatever that may be, and or you've studied your poems for the next event.
Right. Or you went to that class.
You went to that. You showed up
to
for
that
you.
mentor. Yeah.
Exactly.
You saw your therapist.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I'm checking in at 5:30 every Tuesday. Okay. Don't. If I don't do nothing else, I am going to therapy because it keeps me grounded. I'm not going to say I don't need it anymore, but it reminds me that, hey, don't stop right here.
Right.
You still got a whole ladder to climb. And you're going to have, like, surround yourself by people that don't get comfortable. Because we're not going to be in the same place.
Yeah.
All the time. Every time we grow, here's another, stepping stone. The sky is not the limit.
Let me ask you though. Do you think it's okay to want to be comfortable? Sometimes when I think of comfort, it sounds good, it feels good. I think about wrapping up in a nice warm blanket, laying on a fluffy couch. Comfort.
Yeah,
you
for
think
that
comfort
night
is always a bad thing?
No,
when people want to settle in on something like that, they want to just kind of enjoy
No, I don't think comfort is a bad thing.
Okay.
But it's important to understand, has everything been taken care of before I get comfortable?
Before
am I set ahead of time, whether it's finances or whatever? Am I set to be comfortable for this amount of time? Have I done the work to be comfortable and still have the discipline to not be complacent?
Ooh, you preaching.
It's a difference.
Because I
can get comfortable and say, hey, I'm not working my second job this weekend. All right, well, everything's taken care of. The next step of your book is paid for. This, that, and the other. Are you worried about anything financially? No. You got 6-8 months of rent and bills. You get what I'm saying? So it's a difference.
Yeah.
And some of us, if we've grown up in poverty or we haven't come out of poverty, comfortability is all we know. That's comfortable. And then we quick to say, we're not growing. Nobody's helping. I'm not getting inspiration. I'm not getting courage. You ain't moved your butt off the couch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you can get comfortable.
Off that.
Yeah.
When people say, I'm in the house every night. That's what I do. I'm at home.
I wish I could say I'm in the house every night. So to know that I'm going home after here and I'll be in bed before 10 is giving myself grace.
Yeah.
Because the workaholic in me is like, hey, I want to go do this, that, there, and the other. I don't just write books. I also write books, and I'm a dog trainer who is writing a book for people with mental health. So I'm coinciding and just putting a lot of things together. But I have to say, hey, did you show up for Treva first? We grew up having to chase every freaking penny. And now I'm in a place where I can say, hey, I'm happy. And I can miss a couple nights without having to work 2 and 3 jobs.
Well, let's go.
You get what I'm saying? That's what finding your niche is. Not just, are you happy all the way around? Are you comfortable enough to say, let me go on a vacation?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Can you afford this without relapsing back into all of what you came out of?
I love this. This is a great conversation. Like,
I mean, it's
seriously.
true. It's real.
Yes.
Like some people I remind people, stay humble.
Mm-hmm.
Stay humble because life is very short. Nobody has a designated time on them.
Right.
But I want to go and say I accomplished all that I said I was going to do.
Right. So I like this because I really love the part you just said about the complacent piece. Like, I think a lot of people do that. They see like, okay, yes, yes, the stars are shining. Yes, this is beautiful. I got to this point, and then they'll relax.
And they'll sit there till the stars ain't shining no more.
Yeah, and now the clouds is out.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, that's important.
That's
also
that's where the
important.
discipline and accountability come in.
Yep,
When
that's
you got
important.
discipline and accountability playing together, that's where the happiness comes in.
Mhm.
And you can only miss that type of happiness, or you could be comfortable for so long. You're like, hey, I got to get back to the grind.
Mm-hmm.
I got people waiting on me.
And you can't let the reward of your fruits blind you
Blind you.
to the point where now you seek out quick rewards, and those rewards only last temporarily. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And guess how
You
much
can't
stress,
get-
anxiety, and potential depression come with that, because we just sat down too long, got too comfortable. Life happened. A little things got lost along the way, and now we got to triple that
Yeah.
or double that.
Now you're working harder
Now
just to get back what you.
and then you talking about, oh, now I'm depressed.
Yeah.
Just that fast because we sat down too long.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Life is so short, but we don't have forever to live it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have forever to get it right.
That's true. That's true.
Take those opportunities, embrace them, take your breaks, but get back to that happiness.
Yeah.
And it takes time.
It does.
I'm not perfect at all. It takes time. It took me time after I recovered from my strokes. And then I have my moments. Mama, chill today. Girl, you better get your butt in there and clean that just because you can take a break. Like, so I talk to myself sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I get a little too comfortable. And I say, hey, you can get back comfortable when this is done.
When this is done.
Whether it's a small goal or a big goal.
Mhm.
Just don't lose sight
Sight.
of, don't lose sight.
Yep. Keep going.
Yeah, it's hard. If you have the right village, the right people around you, it can be a little easier. And I'm so grateful for my poetry family here in Milwaukee, whether it's at Food for Thought, whatever poet I've come across, you know what I'm saying? I'm so grateful for them because they hold me accountable as a poet, as a speaker, as an author.
Yeah.
I show up to workshop classes. All of that is a part of my discipline.
Let's go. Y'all heard her. Discipline. Discipline.
Ask your friends to come, your loyal friends, come help you out, do something. Keep you the accountable ones.
Yeah.
If they can't hold you accountable, you might have to count them out.
Oh. And that can be tough for some of y'all.
Yeah.
It can be tough for us. But yeah, you gotta know what's best for you.
Yeah.
You gotta do what's best for you. So this is great. This is great. I'm gonna have you say all of them one more time. One more time, y'all. Pay attention. One more time where they can find you in case anybody didn't see it earlier. You can find Treva.
So you guys can find me on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And all those pages are under the same name. It is the word authoress _ TREVA _ Gray. That's GRAY. My only goal has been to continue creating content, not to be perfect, but to encourage somebody, to inspire somebody, to maybe speak somebody's testimony without them speaking, and just remind them that they're not by themselves, and remind them that they are, it's not too late to start healing. The later we wait, the harder it gets, but it's not too late. And I just encourage it. I encourage you to live for you, live in your truth.
Yes, I'll clap for you again. We are about to end the show. I just want to say next week, Wednesday, I will be back on. I got 2 more special guests coming on, so y'all be ready. But yeah, Yeah, this has been great, Treva.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. I'm so honored.
Girl.
I was like, yes, I'm probably finally making it there. And I'm like, yeah, Racine, y'all got to wait tonight. I'll see y'all in 2 weeks, But that's the part of, putting things in order, getting it
Yeah.
together, networking. So
Yes.
I definitely appreciate it.
Girl, I appreciate you coming. I know it's not always easy to get on screens or,
You know what? That's the challenge for me. I'm working on it. As a kid, I could talk my stuff in front of everybody. So I got to talk my stuff now. And so it's just a matter of getting comfortable. I'm comfortable when
Yeah.
I'm like in different settings. But once I get into it, I get into it. And because I speak my truth.
Yeah.
And that's just for everybody. Find your comfort zone.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Don't get too comfortable, but find your comfort zone.
Yes. Thank you for inspiring us all today. Great, great journey that you're on.
Thank
I
you.
look forward to seeing more that you do and all that you do.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I can't wait. I got to get back to poetry night. I haven't been in a few weeks.
You know what?
We're going on Tuesday. I
There
gotta
you
get
go.
out. I gotta get out.
There you
So
go.
I mean, let me know if you're gonna be in the building.
I am.
Perfect. Perfect. Y'all
Thank
get y'all
you.
butts out on Tuesday and see Miss
Tuesday.
Treva, okay?
Thank you.
Yes, 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 yes. So we gonna end the night. I am your host, Kenda. This is my show, Mind My Own Podcast. And thank y'all again for tapping in. And I'll see y'all next week. Bye.